Hello. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It looks like we may have clouds rolling in. Naturally, as soon as I get everything all set up.
Holy potatoes.
Yes, exactly. All the luck in the world, we get the clouds rolling through. Although it makes the image look very, very nice. It looks very nice. Oh dear. Need to make sure everything is all in one place. I walked outside and everything was nice and clear, and all of a sudden it looks like clouds are rolling in. But it still said like later on tonight we have some clear skies, so maybe we'll have a combo, some image processing today and some live astrophotography. But yes, it's Punjabi. Mr. King, how are you doing? Good to see you in here. Hopefully everybody's doing well tonight. I know we're a little unceremoniously cutting that loading screen, or that starting soon screen short, because like the clouds are rolling in, so I don't want the clouds to really ruin our day. So I started an exposure. I started on the Bubble Nebula because there is so much to see in this little area. I figured why not try to capitalize on the clear skies and show something we haven't seen in a while. And you can see that the clouds are kind of rolling in a bit because you get that little bit of haze around the stars. Although it has a nice kind of glow to it. Kind of cuts away a little bit of those halos that form around the stars. But yeah, we're starting our imaging early. And like I said, I didn't know how things were going to go for tonight. I was figuring it would be a little bit of a image processing with our Christmas tree cluster, but you know what, it's one of those random nights where I figured maybe we would, maybe we wouldn't. And after the way how the clouds were seemingly parting, it was looking like we were gonna have some clear skies. It's kind of hazy out. You can see there's a lot of condensation today. That's the other thing, is that there is so much humidity in the evenings, and it just all piles up on the deck. But until the clouds totally ruin our evening, well, they won't ruin our evening. There's a speaking of which, of course, we're losing our guide stars. There's a minute to go on this. Are we gonna, like, we may have run out of luck for this? That's okay. That is all right. We got some images that we could process. I figured it would be that kind of evening. But if the clouds are going to hold off enough, it looks like we got our guide star back. It just has enough to get things going there. But it is what is today? Tuesday? It is Tuesday evening. And we're doing a little bit of astrophotography, hopefully, if everything continues down the right path there. Let's see how this looks in the next few seconds, if it gets even more soft and fuzzy around there. As we wait for, once you see a little loading circle there. Yeah, it's getting a little hazier. We might be losing our clear sky. Let me see what does the weather say, because it was saying fairly clear after like midnight, and then I looked outside and it was like actually really, really clear out. Clearly that was a bit of a teaser there. Caleb, hello, how are you? Look at this adorable bubble. Look at that thing. Look how cute it is. But then there's so much in this area. This is an awesome wide field view for this area. There is so much to see around here. How's it going? How are you doing today? I don't know how guiding is going to hold up. We'll keep an eye on things there. But yes, we are, like I said, thought we were going to have some clear skies. And I figured I'd also maybe do a little bit of Astro image processing as well on the Christmas tree cluster, because I did put that up on the Discord in our subscribers channel there for the the stacked TIFF, so we're all kind of working from the same sheet there, same song sheet, same information, you know. But we are, excuse me, where is everything else here? Show your images. There we go. Yeah, so from the data set, that is what Thor had come up with our just over 5.5 hours worth of data, I believe, is in there. And then Lux took a stab at it as well. So we'll see how things turn out there, depending on how the weather goes. If the weather turns in our favor in a little bit, then we'll go back to imaging. Are you finally getting some greens in the forecast? Excellent. That's what I hope for. I really want to have a lot of green forecast right across the board. What do we got for my area? See, it said we were going to have like a high pressure system, and it looks like we're going to have like fits of clear patches coming through. So this is the area we're kind of looking out for there. And we got some clear patches. I'll keep an eye on things. Maybe we'll if we don't get a whole lot of imaging time done tonight, then that's okay. I'll leave it out for the evening, and we can kind of pick things up and maybe put even some more time with the Christmas tree cluster, or maybe we'll pick out another target. But you can see just behind that, as we come in, there's that just over Detroit, just over the America's mitten. You get that high pressure coming through there, and it starts to clear up over our area. What's up, Thomas? How are you? Oh, you're down in, you're out in Windsor? Well, maybe you're going to get some clear skies later on in the morning. Well, good to see you in here. How are things? How are things going with you? Good, excellent, wonderful, wonderful. Tonight was originally going to be a quick little image processing with the Christmas tree cluster. And then, like I said, I popped my head outside a little, not too long ago, and everything looked nice and clear. So I figured, let's get the scope set up. I got it down to about 15 minutes from taking the cover off and plugging everything back in. If everything is still plugged in from like the night before, and I just have the cover on, or even if the weather is favorable, I don't have to take the cover off, or sorry, put the cover back on. I'm ready to go in like 5 minutes for imaging. So, which is why it'd be a little more advantageous. Do I keep the dew heaters running when overnight, or no? I do turn them off. What's up, Third Rock? How are you, Glorgana? Good evening. Good to see you in here. How are things? Wonderful to see you in here tonight. We had looks like we're dodging clouds tonight. This is the name of the game. We are probably up until about maybe 1 in the morning. We're going to be having like fits of some low cloud coverage coming through there. But yeah, it's not like we're doing a live stack of the Bubble Nebula region. It's not looking too bad, actually. I'm happy with how it's turning out, even though it hasn't ignored anything. I don't know if I haven't checked all the settings to pick its if there's a threshold for all of this, because there have been a few frames in the past that have been like I stood beside the scope and I knocked it and it still stacked that image. So I don't know what the threshold is for ignoring things. You're told it's a good idea to leave them running if you can, if you leave it outside. Really? Just try to avoid any kind of condensation building on there? Yes, it has been too long since I've really been regularly live as well. it seems that everything is working out really well with the internet, and in probably a couple of days, we'll have a more reliable service put in, so I don't have to worry about just all the complications that are kind of come along with this little jury rig setup that we have. But other than that, yeah, I'm happy there. I would expect nothing less. How's it going, CJ? How are you? Also, I may have started, if I did start earlier, I wouldn't have had the telescope set up. I would have started a little earlier, but peanut butter cookies happened, so there was a slight pause in proceedings while we got some peanut butter cookies together. So if anybody wants a peanut butter cookie, I'll email them over. They may not be fresh by the time they get to you, but you know, the ASiAir is that smart that they have a rejection system built for bad frames that do not meet XY. Well, there's a little thing that says ignored. I gotta find out what that's all about there, because if you know, oh, excuse me, if nothing gets ignored, then I don't know what's gonna. Although I did have that wonky image I had before. Like you can't even. Well, actually, it wasn't even on this one. I don't know why we're looking deep on this one, but it wasn't that noticeable. And then it just started to disappear. Maybe like 10 frames later, it was almost you couldn't really notice it there. The easy processing. Okay. Well, you know, for the most part, everything has worked out really well with the live stacking. You got an Amazon Fire Stick, and all you've done is go to NASA's ISS live orbit feed. Left it on all day. 21 pounds well spent. Perfect. Yeah, it's not too bad that it's a fairly cheap little device that gives you a lot of entertainment. Exactly. Yeah, just give us all the CPUs. Give me all the megabits per second. Now there is a lot of. There's also another bit of a test going on today for the stream. I have gone back to a regular audio setup as previous. I don't know if the music is any louder, or if it is, or if any other effects might be too loud. Let me know, because they're kind of tuned to how. I don't know if anybody does remember, like maybe this is going back a couple of months now, maybe even 3 months. The audio suddenly sounded really tinny and robotic, and it was actually absolutely horrible. Like the Saturn V rocket would go off, and it just sounded terrible. And it happened every time I started up OBS, and it wasn't until I switched to a different speaker source on the computer that we had okay sound. But everything was like everything was kind of dim and not too good. So I was wondering what's going on with all this, and also wondering what's going on is the guiding. The guiding's going. We get Ben. What's up, brickheads? Hello, Ben Naduva. How's it going? still a vampire potato. Eminem2, hello. Charles Blank, good day. How are you? Ben, how's it going? How was your stream? I apologize, I didn't get the opportunity to pop by and say hello. I wanted to. I really did. But I'm blaming I'm blaming peanut butter cookies and all of a sudden some clear skies that developed. But yeah, how did it go? How was it going? You built some Lego, did some Animal Crossing, naturally. Did you finish the Hogwarts icon set? How does that look? Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you guys in here. For those of you who may not be familiar with Ben Naduva, I have touted the wonders of his streams and his community. Go check him out if you can. You didn't finish, but progress was made. All right, fair enough. I do have, but we can kind of see a little bit of the lunar lander sitting there beside Grimlock, and the other bit is sitting up there. I kind of want to start it up and just forego Sunday, but I gotta wait. I gotta wait for it to. You love the Infinity Gauntlet display. It's I noticed after I got everything started, I didn't switch the fingers, because the other day we had a little bit of that. Today, last time was a snap, and I didn't switch it. I didn't switch it over. But yes, welcome on in, Brickheads. My name is Tom. I am the Astro Canuck, and usually what we are doing on this stream is we're doing live astrophotography. And
should have gone for the head.
Oh, damn. All right, Ben, no worries. Thank you very much for bringing in the community. Appreciate it very, very much. Have a very good evening. I say we will hope to catch you again really, really soon, my friend. Have a good one. Now, it looks like the guiding is all over the place. We may have lost... Well, there's a little bit of star. A little bit of a... Can we just select... You want to, like, follow that star? Just follow that one? Maybe it'll keep guiding. I don't know. That's the first time in a long time I've been blipped. I've fallen victim to the snapture. How is the audio for that as well? Like I said before, I've switched back to the original audio, which was a little better. Until it went all wonky. So, yeah, if it's too loud, if it seems much louder than before, let me know. I gotta do some adjustments. I do know that if you say anything about the James Webb Space Telescope, I think that one's pretty loud still, or maybe not. I'm not sure. The goats. Well, the goats, I put them up louder, just because. All right, what's the outside look like here? Looks like we may be dealing with some clouds. And we have to stop this live exposure after this one stops. Let's see how this one comes through there. I don't know how it's gonna go. This is we're doing 3 minute images.
Don't say that word.
Yeah, all of that. What's going on, Jenny? How are you? All right, I think I'm going to pause the live stack. So we got about 21 minutes on the Bubble Nebula. We got about 21 minutes on that area, and it's pretty interesting what we can see. And again, I am totally shouting out the benefits to almost no light pollution. And like I said, in 21 minutes, we're able to get something that looks pretty darn awesome with a bunch of star clusters, some nebulosity, and a couple of prominent nebulas in here. Even with the clouds kind of running through, it's just giving this nice softness to the stars. But I'm happy with how everything is turning out for the most part. And like I said, I've been using the ASiair Plus. It has given me very minimal headaches. Pardon me. Like I said before, the meridian flip didn't work.
Don't say that word.
Imagine they launched JWST out of a Saturn. Imagine, right? It's what are we at? Is it still December 18th? We're just under a month away from the launch. Now I know everybody who is covering space at any time. There is going to be no shortage of coverage for this launch. I will be live streaming whatever we can and just trying not to freak out until it's at least into a safer position. It's still past max Q even. And then we still got to wait quite a few weeks until everything is being put into orbit. But I think it's like 6 months until it's going to start one of the missions, or they're going to get like information coming. I got to see what the timeline is there. It's been, again, as long as haven't been streaming, it's been a while since I've caught up on every ounce of space news. You look forward to the day when rocket launches are as boring as driving down the road. Yeah, exactly. It's well, it is. There have been quite a few launches I've missed. I'm like, I didn't even hear there's like almost there's very little pomp and circumstance for it. So I think that was it's very cool that there's so much, and just the reusability of the rockets, and that's just such a huge bonus for things. Soyuz is boring. F9 Falcon 9 is boring, which is it's the good kind of boring, I guess. But right now, I think the James Webb will be like the most tense launch that I've watched in quite a while. Falcon Heavy was awesome, and that was kind of that was it felt there was a lot to it. There was it felt like a very special launch. And the fact that he threw a car out in space. Who else would do that? Oh, what's happening to the internet? Kind of slowed down a bit there. They yeeted that and just yeeted the heck out of that car. You don't need to reuse rockets if you just build stuff on the moon. The moon is close by. A car, then you send. Why would they send a bra into space? Why would we send a bra into space, CJ? As long as it doesn't start raining. A good argument. Okay, let's do it. Hello, Pookie. You didn't let your tea go cold, did you? You do know that tea actually does go cold, right? Space Bra 3000 launching on Falcon Heavy. Thank you. Could you turn off all the clouds too? Please? Oh, we got 1 star. We got 1 star back. Yes, did the giant fan arrive from Amazon yet? Should be about 5 meters wide. Okay, do we have... Look at the stars coming back.
I am inevitable.
That's it. We just need 1 star. That's it. It seemed to have done it. We got some kind of clouds going away. No, it didn't work. Nobody got snapped. There was no... The gauntlet was empty. Let's see if we can... Now I do have a. I didn't check it out. I have a old TV satellite, and I don't know if it'll work for radio astronomy. Actually, while we're waiting for these clouds to go away, let's check on that. Can I do? Let's do radio astronomy with a TV satellite. What does Google say? In fact, you can turn an old satellite dish into a radio telescope, but you can probably only see some nearby objects. I don't care. See anything. Get anything there. People have turned the DirecTV dishes into radioscopes. That's pretty much what I have. It is pretty much like a DirecTV satellite there. Same thing would happen like Shaw, Kojiko, Cox cable, like those gray satellite dishes that like everybody had at one point. That's what we have. So how detailed? You need like a wiki how. Thanks for the answer, Jeff Magnum. All right, show me some pictures. What? No, there's too much reading in here. I want to show me. Give me a wiki how. Gotta shine those satellites up real nice. Turn it sideways. Hang on, wrong promo. Miniature radio telescope in every backyard. Yeah, it's pretty much okay. My dish is like wider, but get your Google under control, CJ. Well, the good thing with radio telescopes, because the radio waves are so they're so large that you can use you can even kind of bend. Well, in the astrophysics for people in a hurry, saying that you can bend chicken wire to make like a radio telescope. But I don't want to get chicken wire when I have a perfectly good satellite dish. Well, let's well, I'll keep this tab open. It'll come back to that because if they got that working, then maybe we can. Chicken Wire Astronomy sounds like a good punk metal band name. It does. It does because it doesn't. If you have three names, or three names in your band name, then you're more of a hipster kind of band, like Bombay Bicycle Club or something like that. But I like it. Chicken Wire Astronomy. Settech Astronomy. It's just as long as it's two names. All right. I apologize for eating the peanut butter cookie, but it's a peanut butter cookie and it's delicious. Oh no, did I totally miss it? I'm searching it right in front. Right in here. I gotta say, I've never seen sneakers. So I'll throw that. I may as well throw it in the Discord in our books and movies and things to watch. Sark, hello. How's it going? How are you doing? Where's that? Books and movies. That's it. Which raises an interesting question. Are there blind astronomers? I don't know for sure if there are blind astronomers. There is a streamer I need to get back in touch with. Their stream is Cooking Without Looking, and she is blind, but everything is read out through TTS to her. And in the first bit of contact she had with me, she was saying how if people are say, when I'm showing images of outer space, it's not so much just what it looks like, it's kind of give them an idea of what chemicals are out there and just what else is going to kind of invoke their imagination and just kind of let them know what it is that we're looking at there. So yeah, I need to I do want to get back in touch with her because that was a bit of an important thing. So, you know what? It's that's a perfectly awesome question that come up with there. TTS for digital astronomy would be intense. White pixel, black pixel, black pixel, black pixel, white pixel. Now, if we got, oh, it is struggling to get any. Well, it seems to be guiding. Guiding is all over the place, but if it's or is it just following a? I just wonder if it's following like a dead pixel there, and it thinks it's a star, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's 10 o'clock now. The skies are, well, they said they're kind of clearing up around like 12. But that's not to say we may not get together with, like I said, the Christmas tree cluster. What do we got here? Interesting. Interesting. That's cool. That's very cool. We'll check that out. Actually, are we allowed to watch TED Talk videos, or do you get dinged for anything on there? Hello. Good evening. Good to see you. How are you doing? We're just talking about. Well, we went from radio astronomy to the question of, are there any blind astronomers? And yeah, the question had well, the topic had come up a few months ago, and yeah, with another streamer who actually, she is blind and was asking some more questions about astronomy. Quark Mark, what's going on? How are you? Long time no see, sir. How have you been? All right, let's have a... We have been... Yeah, we're fighting with some clouds right now. Just throwing rocks at the clouds over here. Yeah, it's... man, like the sky was looking good, but then it just turned on us pretty quick. So there was like the sonification of some like Hubble images. CJ! Have a very good sleep. Have a good snooze. Get some rest. We'll look forward to seeing you again. Thank you. You're missing streaming. Lost your backyard, so it's tough to stream right now. A drastic change of venue for you there, Mark? It's got you're in an apartment now. Ah, I see. I get that could be a little yes. I know there are a couple other people who recently moved into apartments as well, and it's just a matter of trying to get. I guess learning drift alignment is something that's going to be coming in handy for those who don't have a proper shot at the North Star. To trying to get some sense of imaging there. I know a lot of people like swear by drift alignment more than polar alignment, but it's just, I guess it's one of those things unless you like start doing it over and over and over again to make it as easy as possible. I swapped away from astrophotography for a bit to learn a new hobby of paragliding. There's a lot more to paragliding than there is for more of a steep learning curve for that than astrophotography, right? Don't tell me astrophotography was harder. How's that going? Do you just figure like, yeah, I want to safely jump off this mountaintop? That's true. Yeah, they both are weather dependent. That is. What is it? Is it some kind of something deep inside that whenever we want to do a hobby, it really depends on factors we can't control? Is that what it is? Is there some innate draw to this? Ooh, it looks like we got some sky back. Lego have a lot of uncontrollable factors. Maybe if there's a part missing. And then you have to wait for it to be ordered. Paragliding is a life goal of mine. I'm really excited to travel the world and fly all over. That's just true. You're gonna want to like try to just glide everywhere. I imagine in the next little while it's going to start to get a little easier to start flying all over, unless you just really pick up a good updraft and just you can fly for miles and miles, right? Oh, they finally got back to you about the ZWO. Got back to you about the camera. What's the status on that? Or are you moving to mono and just ditching the 2600 altogether? All right. Okay. We got some clear skies again. All right, Mark, no worries. Thank you very much for the lurk. Good to see you back here on stream, on Twitch. Oh, and why is the star lost? Oh, and of course I'm on the wrong screen here. High Point will be getting back to you in a day or two. You spoke with them today. You're saying adios to ZWO. Let's continue. Let's continue the stack. It's got like the clouds kind of give a nice little glow to everything. We'll go. Well, I'll go with it. I'll work with it. It seems a glow is better than the harsh halo that we get with some of the images. Like, actually, no, I'm going to the wrong folder here. Why am I going to the wrong one there? Oh, I was going to... Okay, so we got the Bat and Squid Nebula on here. I don't have the Pleiades to hand, because that was actually... I was using my my mobile phone for that. But I did put that image on the Instagram, because that turned out it turned out much better than I thought it was ever going to, with a broadband reflection nebula using our narrowband filter, and I still was managed to pick up some decent nebulosity in there. I got about 45 minutes into the Bat and Squid. The 03, I stretched it to like without almost they're almost touching, and you could start to see the very faint piece of the squid in there. But yeah, definitely got to do I was also doing just 3-minute exposures, and yeah, that would be, you need to do like some super long exposures or just super focused 03 on that target. But I could see where it started to come through with this filter. So it's not to say that I wouldn't give it another go, because it kind of sits in a good spot and is available all night long. But there's so many other targets that I want to go after. But yeah, if I can spend the time on the Bat and Squid and get a good portion of those channels out of there. 20 to 40 hours. That's quite a lot. That is. See, what do I have able to do? What's how long do we have Astro Dark for? Because then if there's ever a time when there is like, I know that there is going to be like 3 nights in a row, then maybe that's what we go for there. All right, so it looks like guiding is back to being awesome again. So let's see if some of these nicer exposures will start clearing things up a bit in here. But I was wondering what to kind of start to shoot at the beginning of the stream tonight, and as soon as I figured let's start shooting straight up, and seeing almost anything in Cassiopeia would have been a good idea, because I saw a little bit of clouds to the northwest, and was kind of hoping like maybe if we can avoid them as long as possible. But pardon me, I'm imagining there's going to be some clouds coming in and out for the night. But it's just there's so many targets in this area. I'm just getting just getting everything over here on Stellarium. So I'm going to show you guys what's the area that we're looking at right now. So we have the Bubble Nebula as front and center. We got the star cluster, Cassiopeia Salt and Pepper cluster. There is the Nova Cassiopeia 2021, Northern Lagoon Nebula, and hidden within there's also the Lobster Claw Nebula as well, just above like the Dormouse cluster. So there's quite a few targets that we get in this one little area of the night sky, and we are at about 300 millimeters in focal length. So it's a nice wide field of view. I probably would almost want to go a little wider. Skybridge, what's going on? Not to go off topic, it's still on topic. It's all good. Any recent shots of Jupiter and Saturn? Pardon me. I have not gotten any of those shots yet. Where are they right now? It has been, I'm on a fairly wide field of view. The other telescope that we have would almost be better suited, would be better suited for planetary. So we got, where's Saturn? Yeah, Saturn is below the horizon now. And Jupiter is starting to sit low on the roof line for when we start our imaging sessions now. So yeah, we are. Actually, what time can we go back to? Yeah, at about 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock there. If you have like a. See, we're at, like I said, we're at 300 millimeters in focal length. So even if we were to aim it at Jupiter, it's still fairly tiny in there. But if you had a nice wide angle lens, you could get a. Let's see if we have any other. No. If I went over to the right target there. Show on the RC8. Now, if you had like a 14 millimeter lens, you should probably even 25 millimeter would be good. You get a nice wide shot with them in there. Although at that point there would be very small points of light at the moment. Yeah, you get it at the right time. You're getting, if you could see, well, depending on your altitude as well and your latitude, that you could get all four of them in one target there. Yeah, Jupiter and Saturn, like, they got low quick. Like, they dropped way off the radar. Before they were sitting high above the roof for quite a while in the south, and then it just seemed after daylight saving, it just, well, they're an hour. They got like an hour ahead now. So, unfortunately, it just seems that we are losing the time with Jupiter, although I am happy with how we had everything before there. But it's there's a lot of targets that are still sitting up high and are going to be available to us like all night long, which is good because the more that we can have a lot more time. With targets like even like this. I love this wide field shot. Now, right now we're doing 3-minute exposures. I have one dark frame that it's calibrating with. And, oh, no problem. I'm glad I'm entertaining. I am always happy to go off topic because there's no, I don't really have a set schedule for what we're talking about anyway as well. You know, I got my rough idea, and sometimes things will go fairly to plan, and other times things go wonderfully off the rails, and that wouldn't happen unless we did go off topic for anything. Although I guess I wouldn't say that, you know, we're still talking astrophotography. We're still talking about the planets. But I'm going to leave it running on this one until it seems like the clouds are maybe going to be on our side. So we've had it quite a bit. How many more? We've added riding 3 frames now. So we got 12 minutes of clear sky to us. And hopefully it's going to... Hopefully the clouds are going to play ball and stay away. And you can just see, you can see how much condensation there is on the glass out there. A couple of nights ago, the very, very low humidity. And it was nice that I didn't have to wipe everything down in the morning. And there's a lot floating around that the camera picks up. And we can safely say that we are not there. There is no meteor shower that we're catching with this camera looking out that way. We're more than likely picking up little water droplets that are coming through, or little motes of dust that the IR camera is picking up. That's the other thing I noticed, is that thinking back, if I was to start pointing the telescope closer towards the camera, then that IR signal is going to start causing a little bit of issue. I haven't had that problem yet, but I am aware that is a potential problem for it. So I guess that's also why I kind of kept things. Well, back in England, it was a little different because there was enough of a light source all around that the telescope was still illuminated almost no matter how dark it got. Although now, when the sun is down, it is a moonless night. We could barely see the telescope with the color, with the daytime camera on there. So I have to go to the infrared. I am hoping that the Wisecam, the Wisecam V3, does have a very good color night shot. Because I've seen some people's images with the Wisecam using the infrared, and it looks really good. But if we can cut out any of that, the potential signal that might screw up the camera a little bit, then it's better to kind of get rid of any of those factors and keep the signals and light pollution to like nil, really. So I think we have, I'm going to check that. Let's check what the weather is updating to, if we have a... No, it looks like we got... This thing that you can't... Okay, you can pause it. So it says 11 o'clock. It says 11 o'clock, there's still cloud coverage. And then things are clearing more by 1:30, 2 a.m. So keep an eye on the weather. I think it's time to take the learning curve to over 9,000 with mono. Well, here's the one thing I want to try out. And it also involves buying another filter, but it involves buying an HA filter. Because the option, I don't know if it's on the Pro. It may be. I may be thinking there's like way too many vast changes over the Plus from the Pro. Is you can do... Oh wait, I don't know if I can select it on here. Mono binning. Where essentially it just it doesn't turn the color camera essentially into a mono camera, but the idea behind it seems to be that it is kind of starting to register as more of the signal coming through with narrowband. I have to read the description in there for how they use it, but it just seems like how we can get we are getting the red, green, and blue coming through on this one to make our color image, and essentially just treats the Bayer matrix as all monochrome. So the signal may not be as strong in the green and blue. I want to try it out, but I feel like I need to. I guess I could use this one as a luminance layer. Try that out for a little bit. I could probably do, actually what I might do tonight is after we sign off, and as long as the skies are going to be cooperating, if I go back to the Christmas tree cluster, if I go back to that and try the mono binning, see what happens for a luminance layer, we'll give it a shot. What's the best that can happen, right? So those little halos around the stars are starting to disappear a little more as we start stacking without clouds making them the image looking a little more soft. But we could probably start pushing the data a little bit more. Actually, I'm going to crank it up like way up there just to see what we're getting here. There's so much more nebulosity around the bubble nebula than we've kind of been able to see in recent images. At least in my images. I know there have been other people who've taken some fantastic shots of this region, but just from the light pollution, how much more nebulosity we're seeing, how much less light pollution we're fighting with on here, and looks like the guide star is disappearing. But it's, I've cranked this image a little. Fairly high there to try to get some details. So yeah, there's a lot more noise coming through. Although, with it calibrating on one dark frame, the histogram does sit farther over to the left than it usually does. Usually it's kind of sitting, the black levels are sitting here. What's going on, Ant? How are you? Things are looking okay. Things are looking decent. We've been fighting with the clouds for a little bit. But you know what? We're getting some images. We got some images around the constellation of Cassiopeia tonight, and I'm excited to see what this system can do now. But yeah, good to see you in here. Good to see you. So we got a little bit. I can still see stars, so it's not too bad out there tonight. If you had a dark sky, I'd likely have no broadband available to stream. We are just getting this through. It's been so long since we've had internet here that was reliable, and the fact that it was my last stream with broadband internet was the 19th of September. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple weeks after the move. No, that was, it's been quite the headache. What's tomorrow? Wednesday. I'm anticipating Thursday, Friday, we're going to have the outdoor tower is going to be completely erected, and we will have a reliable signal. And then that way I have things that are a little jury-rigged at the moment. But for the most part, it's holding up. And yeah, I'm not too fussed with things. Yeah, there's something I can, if I'm watching somebody else's stream, I'm watching at 360p. That's about as fast as I can, as a quality of a video that I can watch. Although thankfully, as long as you're watching anybody's stream on a smaller screen, it's not too bad. You can't really notice things. You can't really notice the pixelation. But I guess if you're always watching on full screen, and if you're watching me on full screen, then it might be a little bit blurry. But also, again, I have also switched up the sound channel on here. I was having problems with my audio before. I got that fixed, and if there's any sound effects that kind of pop up from any of the channel rewards or just the chat commands that'll trigger things, let me know if that's way too loud or way too uncomfortable there, because I've been going through and adjusting some levels, but it doesn't always. I don't always catch them. I don't always see. I mean, I can run through the list, but it's some of them. It's probably I'll forget where they are. I was getting prepared to completely uninstall OBS and just not so much start from scratch. I was saving the profiles and the scenes, but I was getting ready to completely uninstall OBS, and I happened upon one other audio tab that I didn't even know was there, and I saw that there was one audio source that was cranked right up, and it was peaking. And for some reason, it was causing this weird echo, this tinny echo. And as soon as I started to drop that down, everything returned to normal. So, if it does happen again, I know roughly where to find it, where to go to fix it. Other than that, it's kind of it more of fixing things up and kind of getting back to the normal. Not rotation, I'm thinking. Just the normal swing of things, because there's still stuff to change up. The camera is still in the wrong spot. The overhead camera is still at a weird angle where everything is like, here's the edge of the desk, but there's less of the desk that we can see, especially when we're doing like the Lego build, and like this is almost like too close of a zoom. So we got to fix that up a bit there. Like I said, the main camera is it's a little closer to the background than it was in the previous place, so just kind of fixing things up. When I go to our full screen, we got more of our other shelving over there, but it's this is the office where I'm going to be working from for quite a while now, until we switch things up a little bit, until we get the actual observatory built. And once we kind of get a few more numbers together, we can actually I can put a goal on here of what we're working toward. And it's not just for that. There's so many other elements that we are putting all the funds toward. Anything that does come in, it's it's being divvied up for things that we want to be able to do some fun things on the stream and just improve. Maybe having a filter wheel where we can switch between filters on the fly. And if we are shooting, like right now we're shooting in narrowband, but if we want to be able to shoot a galaxy in broadband and get more detail in there, then we can switch over to that. And also, if we want to try to do something in just one single signal in like hydrogen alpha, again, we switch the filter up, have another view over there for something different. I mean, it's nice to get a color view. Now, I've also, like I said, I've blown this image like way out of proportion there. That's not too bad. So the filter that we're running right now is the Altair Astro tri-band filter, which is the one. My only complaint about it, and I guess it can obviously be kind of maybe fixed up with maybe some shorter exposures or anything like that, is these large halos, this coma that comes around the bright stars. So that's one of the issues with this, but everything else, it just, there's so much that... Yes, the... where is it? Let's go back to... There, that's the nova there. Or is that the nova? It was labeled in it was labeled within Stellarium. But it is and I really can't describe right now what I see other than just a wall of stars since we've moved, and there's almost no light pollution. So on that scale I've been talking about, for the Bortle scale from 1 to 9, we're at a 3. We are 2 away from the lowest level. It's you know, it would just be like, you can, like, without even being, like, our eyes being dark adapted, I can see the Milky Way. So just being able to see so much more than living in the city for so long. Now, halos add character as long as they are concentric, just like diffraction spikes add character. I feel there's that little bit of a difference with the diffraction spikes over the halos, but I get what you're saying there. Chonky Cutie, what's going on? Let's say you're a millionaire and obsessed with Mars. What telescope did you buy? Asking for a friend. Do we thank your friend often for ruining our skies with Starlink? But how are you, Chunky Cutie? Good to see you in here. If I was a millionaire obsessed with Mars, I would... See, I can't even get in the Mars obsession. I like what's going on with Mars. I would buy an array of Rasa telescopes and just have a... Didn't someone do that? Isn't there like the Dragonfly array? Or is that's not with Rasa scopes, is it? There's something else with some smaller refractors. So next time Mars comes around, I want to say we're prepared. We're going to be prepared to get some better images than we have in the past. I also want to figure out how to do the video on here for sure. And maybe we'll start doing another live stack, because this is looking awesome. Explain why an array, not just a freaking big one. As a small astronomer, I would go for the array for anything interchangeable rather than dealing with a big giant mirror that I'd have to worry about. If anything, if one thing goes wrong with one telescope in the array, we could swap it out. Keep things modular. That's what I'd like to do. If I could have, let's say, an array of maybe 9 scopes, if it works out. So still end up with a square image, or maybe we do 12. Go 4x3. You're making me spend a lot of money here, Chonky. But no, I would like the modular aspect of things, because then you can. We got 3 scopes shooting in hydrogen alpha. We got 3 scopes shooting in sulfur 2. We got 3 scopes shooting in oxygen 3, and then another 3 scopes doing a luminance layer. And then all of a sudden you spend an 8-hour night and you have mathematics. And you immediately have, in one night, you've collected 96 hours of data. Yeah, you never heard of an array scope for planetary. I don't know if you... How well would an array work for planetary if you're taking video? Because you don't... Because you see people like Damien Peach with the images he gets with one scope. See, I'm a Nebula guy. Planetary is kind of cool to look at through a scope visually. But yeah, it's I don't know, for doing something like this, for going after like this area, if we're going after the bubble nebula, if we can in one night we can collect 96 hours worth of data. Or if you're going after like the bat and squid, you can collect all that data in one night and just have a really awesome image to work with. But right now, at the moment, we are working with one single telescope. We have our 8-inch Ritchie-Chrétien telescope. Piggybacked on top of that is our imaging scope for tonight, the Skywatcher 72 ED, and our guide scope, as always, the Skywatcher 50 ED Evo Star. So it is. It's been a very reliable system for me, and I'm very pleased with. This is 17 3-minute exposures that have been stacking, some through cloud as well. So we got a little bit of softness to some of the stars, but I like how that looks. It's not too bad. So I'm gonna let this one. I'm gonna go whimsical. We'll go up to 18. We'll go to 18 exposures because I just want to let this one finish, and then we'll pick another target. It looks like everything. So as soon as we pick another target, I know the clouds are going to roll in again, and then it's not so much that it's wasted data on there, but we'll pick another target to get some images from. I was thinking earlier to go after the Flaming Star Nebula because of how the reflection came out with the Pleiades, and even just how we're getting some really good star color in these images. I'm just thinking if we can get some, you get the emission of the flaming star, but also the blue coming from that reflection nebula as well in there. And it's sitting out to the east. There is no light pollution out that way. So there's a little bit of a dome to my north. But other than that, that sits fairly low, like into the tree line really. So, stuff I don't need to worry too much about. So we'll let this one finish. I think we will go over to the Flaming Star, because I haven't really done that one in a live stack yet, and it fits really nice. It fits real nice in this frame and field of view there. So those of you who may be new to the channel, I welcome you guys in. My name is Tom. I am the Astro Canuck, and this is what we do here. We take live images of outer space in my backyard with this smaller telescope on top of a large telescope. And whenever the skies are clear, or when I thought they were going to be clear, we'll do some live astrophotography. Or if the skies are clear multiple nights in a row, we'll kind of flip-flop back and forth between doing some live imaging and then doing some off-stream imaging and collecting some data. Originally tonight I was going to do a little bit of image processing on the Christmas tree cluster, but I'll hold off on that for now because we are doing some live shots tonight, taking a look at some beautiful targets, beautiful areas. Like the Bubble Nebula itself is an awesome target that we've gone to in the past, and it's just it's come out really, really well, even with this scope. Like even with 300 millimeters, having reliable images coming through. Like we're doing 3-minute exposures. There's not a lot of time for any errors in the guiding to make a huge impact, if anything. Even if there's a frame where there's a satellite rolling through, it can be quickly lost in the stack there. Or if we were doing like even if we were doing an imaging session, a 3-minute exposure with a satellite kind of ruining it, it's okay to dump that that frame and then just keep going on. But if you're doing like super long exposures, like say like 10, 15, 20, 45-minute exposures, single shots, you kind of up the risk of something going through your frame. But you know, for 3-minute exposures, I think it's hard. It's turned out really, really well. And like I've cranked this up. Like, let's go to the more of an extreme side of things to see what kind of nebulosity is in this area. You know, what we could be uncovering if we had more time on this target and really start to pull out the data. Because if we start stretching it too much, obviously we can start to see the red, green, and blue, all the noise that comes through with the sensor heating up. But yeah, the longer you can do your images for, the longer you can do your exposures, then you can start to really pull out those finer details without amplifying the noise. But for sitting in a dark sky area, you know, I'm happy with how that has turned out there. We'll save that down. And like I said, we're going to go head over to the Flaming Star Nebula, IC405. So we did have what was interesting to see before I threw in the we do have some I did see a couple that were like super hot pixels. It's normally you can see clumps of them as everything is being dithered. But the last time I was when I was dithering without a dark frame, you can see like these little, you can see the green and the reds and the blues all kind of clumping all over the place, like these little clusters of hot pixels in there. So that's, yeah, we saved that one down. So there was that's it, the monobin. Monobin is a special pixel combination for color cameras. For color cameras only, bin refers to the merging of adjacent pixels into a large pixel. For color camera, it will combine the closest pixel with the same color, while monobin ignores the information of the Bayer matrix and select closest pixel value to merge to get a grayscale image. You can consider enabling monobin for narrowband photography when you're using a color camera in order to save storage space and reduce the difficulty in post-processing. So I'm interested to try this out, see how that goes there. I piqued your curiosity with the array scope. You know, some example you can look into. I believe it's called the Dragonfly array. Yes, that's what we're thinking of. The Dragonfly telephoto array. All single telescopes with cameras all hooked up to them there. So I'll drop that link in there as well there, Chunky. Yeah, if you want to check out more on that. So there are some people who they'll use two telescopes with the same scope, same camera. So essentially you are doubling up your data for the night. But it's not so much this is going overboard, but you're utilizing as much of that space as possible there. So what is the so this is the equivalent of a 1 meter refractor with a focal ratio of 0.4. It does. It looks like you're going to get some. That is cool. No sensor is free of the hot pixels. I should say that scientific grade don't depend on sensor grade, but those cost lots of money. So yeah, it's the CCD cameras that have less than, because there's no Bayer matrix on that, right? It's not a CMOS sensor. All right. CCDs, and they're just going to be white, right? Okay, IC405. Let's go over to that there. But yeah, that Dragonfly telescope looks incredible. That is, but then there's also we were talking about this before, of larger binoculars, like using big telescopes as binoculars there. They're just black, no data. All right. Okay, let's head over to... Wait, am I on the right thing? I must be, yeah. So I mentioned yesterday on Discord that my keyboard bit the dust, and I was going out today to buy another keyboard. That didn't happen. I did manage to find an older keyboard that I did bring with me, but it's it's not the keyboard I'm looking for, but it's the keyboard that's going to work for now. Cosmic Rose, hello Rose, how are you? You checked out the VODs, wonderful, thank you, appreciate that. I'm glad to be back to a fairly regular stream schedule now. And with some surprise streams, such as tonight, where it's a little iffy with the clouds. We had a bit of a hiccup with them before, but so far everything is working well. I think it may have maybe some cloud interruption in a bit, but we'll see how that goes. But we're doing, pardon me, we got a bit of a new toy today. Not today. We've had it for a while. But that is this little tool here. The severe upgrade to what we've been using in the past. This is the latest version from ASiair, from ZWO. We are using some live stacking capabilities here. So instead of waiting 10 minutes for a single exposure to come through, we can do shorter exposures, and the software will just stack it on top of itself. And we're going to start off this next image as the flaming star nebula will hopefully come into view there. The auroras are messing with your internet as well for the last 24 hours. Yeah, have you managed to get pictures of them? Because I am where I am, we just it just kind of missed us. So let's show you over here. So this is our new residence area, and the auroras were coming down like that. Like the poor end of things was just skirting my view. So even with the low light pollution that we have here, it just wasn't possible. So yeah, if they weren't even coming down our way, that was unfortunate there. However, I can't complain too much. Like, we have almost no light pollution. I'm gonna bang on about that all the time, whether it is to just make a point or maybe rub it in a bit. I don't know. I'm counting myself incredibly fortunate to be living in this area and doing what we do for astrophotography, and that's what I want to do, is share it with you guys as quickly as possible. That's cool. That's not... Is that third rock? Is that yours? Is that yours? I've missed you too, Rose. I've missed you. I've missed so many people, and it's good to see. I know, like, you know, I've been gone for like a month and a half now, so it's kind of getting back into the swing of things and letting people know that Astro Canuck is streaming again, sharing the night sky with you guys, and you know, just having a good time hanging out. What'd you guys have for dinner? What'd you eat? I would have started streaming sooner, although if I did, I would have missed out on setting up the scope. But you know, the important thing is peanut butter cookies. That's the big winner. Well, streams are back. We're back streaming. I am happy to be doing this again. I miss doing it. I know there are some aspects I'm getting my footing back in here, and there's still some changes that have to go on. You know, there's still IRL commitments that are obviously going to take precedence over everything, but you know what? It's just a matter of getting back into the swing of things. So here is the first little bit of the Flaming Star Nebula, and as these images start coming through, there's gonna be much more detail being visible. What I'm really hoping to achieve with this is, yes, we have the red from the hydrogen alpha signal, but there's also little bits of blue or cyan where the star is illuminating the gas clouds. So that's the combination, because there is so little light pollution, which this filter in the past wouldn't pick up all the detail. It's now possible to get more signal coming through there. You always wanted to see the roaring. Now you want to stop on clear nights because it mucks up imaging, makes it too bright or too noisy. I know, right? Let's go out here. There's the that image third rocket had sent over there. Because that's beautiful. That's awesome. If that's your intended target for the night. But yeah, you know, there's some. I like the framing of. I like the framing of the Big Dipper. Just hoping that Mount Rainier. What are the chances of Mount Rainier going over another hotspot? Will it become active again? Yeah, how many are still potentially active around you? See, that's it. The Pacific Northwest got such a good charge of from the auroras. So I'm relying on everybody else to share these images, because until we get a decent dose of solar wind coming through, you know, it's not going to work. All right, let's see how much of an improvement things get when we at least get 2 images coming through. So you see, almost like right away, it starts to become a little more uniform, a little less mottling going around there. So again, we're starting to see that little bit of that blue, that cyan, that's reflecting off the hydrogen gas in the area. So we'll bump it up a little bit, start to see some more detail on the flaming star. But again, we'll let this run, and we'll let the images kind of come through for a little bit there. And you know, I did a I think I had a 14-hour exposure about two seasons ago now with the flaming star, and it was just like, it was good. I liked how the image came through, but it was still with my Canon camera, so it wasn't even a cooled camera I was working with. And already, like, this is starting to look way better than what I was working with originally. You got Mount St. Helens, Baker, Rainier, Adams, Mount Hood, three sisters, 3 Strato. Mashiyu! Welcome into the observatory. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Dropping a follow and lurk from another Anchor Club member. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Hope you're doing well tonight. I appreciate the lurk. We're doing some live images of outer space right now, and I am happy as Larry to be doing this. It's been so long. But yeah, it's that's the telescope we're using, not the big one, the smaller one on top. That's what I only have one camera so far. But this is the we're looking at the Flaming Star Nebula, which is about 1,400 light years away, and I'm going for some interesting shots here because this star here is reflecting off of this whole area of nebulosity, and that's what I want to capture, is more of this reflection in there. But it'll take some time. Got to do multiple hours of exposures for the most part, but we're gonna get this. We're gonna look at this for maybe the better part of half an hour or so. Let those images kind of roll on in there, and we'll see how it turns out. Unless we're going to be inundated with some clouds. We'll see how that goes. If Rainier clears her lungs, all of Western Washington is done for. Ruh-roh. Do they ever? Is there like? Do you ever have any drills or anything like that, or just? I don't know. Like what is life like living around so many volcanoes? Like, I know people who live near nuclear power plants. They have iodine pills. Is there? I know. Do they just they give you Flintstones vitamins or something like that? I don't know. Like, are there? Like, do you get warnings or, like I said, drills or anything like that? I've only felt a couple of earthquakes, and I think when we were in, Mrs. Canuck and I were in Turkey, we felt, what do we have? It was only a 3.5, but it was enough to kind of shake the hotel. And it was a weird, eerie feeling. When you live closer to Rainier, you heard siren testing every month. Volcano or earthquakes? Can I pick if it's like a slow erupting earthquake? Oh my gosh. A slow erupting volcano? Anything under 4 doesn't count. It was enough to shake the hotel. But that was like the least of our worries for that trip. It was just you know, you can plan all you want, and then just all sorts of things go wrong. So I'm not saying that was the worst trip we've ever had, but it was one of the more memorable ones that keeps getting called back to, saying, just remember how fortunate everything else was. You had a 2.5 and a 3.0 2 years ago at like 2 a.m. It just packed up, thought the dog was scratching and shaking the bed, found out the next morning it was a quake. It was rather insignificant, you figure, right? I think there was, when I still remember vividly as a kid, and I don't know why I guess I do know why it sticks in my head, because we did feel an earthquake in southern Ontario, And all it was like this. It felt like a shudder kind of go through the house. And it was just a weird, it's like, what was that? We thought it was like a large, it was too much of a shake for like a large truck. But they were also doing construction in my area. So we thought it was, we thought it just may have been them kind of clearing the, tamping down the ground for building housing. But it was, it was actual earthquakes. And I was eating a box of Lucky Charms. I remember that, just not those Lucky Charms. NASA muffin. Why? Where's the alert? How come that? NASA muffin. Let me give you the sounds. Let's try this again. Let's pretend it says NASA muffin. NASA muffin. But now we don't get the shaking. Let's pretend everything worked all at once. Welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you so much for the raid. Good to see you tonight. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Tom. I am the Astro Canuck, and we are doing what this channel is all about. Some live astrophotography. And we are getting the Flaming Star Nebula coming in. We got 4 exposures. 4 exposures at the moment there. But yes, NASA, what were you up to? What were you doing? Were you finishing up the sweater? Oh, is it blanket? Doing more knitting. All right. How much more to go on that project there? Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid, for bringing in your community. A little over 25% left. If you guys want to check out some supremely chilled streams with NASA Muffin, a little bit of knitting, some nice conversation, go check her stream out. Give her a follow if you can. Always good to see what other people are doing on Twitch. What makes them happy? What puts a smile on their face? You were 30 miles away from a 6.665 earthquake. Woke you up to 30 miles. I figure that should still be intense. No, you still feel that. Okay, those who are in, I guess over on the west coast of the United States. As a kid, I always remember hearing people talking about the big one, like that California, or that the San Andreas Fault is going to separate Los Angeles. Does that still get talked about? Because it's just, or maybe because I haven't watched cable TV anymore. Like, do people still talk about a big one? Like, I remember it was like right up there with the big concerns as a kid, like California is going to separate. You're going to land in quicksand. Stop, drop, and roll is absolutely essential. You're going to catch on fire so many times in your lifetime. Speaking as a Californian, only aspirationally, 100% all the time. All right, so it's like it's like stopped making its way out east. It's just it was interesting because it was one of the things. It's like I remember, like they made like TV series and like ABC had movies, and I remember one of them was called The Big One. San Andreas and the Juan de Fuca plate are the 2 major concerns for the big one. The big one. You always dreamt of a home in Salt Lake City, the new beachfront. Now, I used to work for a company that was based out of Salt Lake City, Utah. Actually, no, it was Provo, Utah. Still, the knowledge I had from that area, from always seeing the the factory tours and just the areas around there. I won a round of GeoGuessr to within like a few hundred feet, just because of the area. I'm like, I recognize this lake. I recognize this area. We're in Provo, Utah. So the one time that really came in handy, working for an American company a few years back. Actually, my goodness, it's like 8 years ago. Oof. Okay, fine. That's let's make Astro feel old. Thinking back to the time in the UK. I can't believe it's just been 10 years we lived in the United Kingdom. Never say numbers out loud. No, yeah, that's not a good thing. It sounds fine in my head. It sounds fine in my head. As soon as those numbers come out, it's too real. Back in the before 4 times, working for a company out of the United States, that helped me in GeoGuessr. Let's not put numbers on things. So this is the area that we're looking at tonight. Actually, let me fix up our field of view here in fix up our field of view. We're in the constellation of Auriga, and this is the Flaming Star Nebula. That's our target that we're going after here. Museo Costa, welcome in. If I can butcher your name any farther, please let me know. Welcome into the observatory. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it. This is our target right now. We're looking at live. Actually, this is the live view. Actually, we're coming in at 3-minute exposures, but you know what? For the sake of astrophotography, this is as live as possible. It is 1,400 light years away, so I guess if you really want to get nitpicky, it is. This is the Flaming Star Nebula from 1,400 years ago. We're in southwestern Ontario in the northern area, in the Grey Highlands, and man, there's a lot of humidity. There's a lot of water vapor in the air. I'm surprised we're getting some decent shots, but you can just see how much condensation is on the glass railings there. And you can even see it on the big telescope. However, the fact that we have clear images coming through means our dew heaters are doing the job. Bit of a pun there. Just a bit. But they are designed to keep the lens nice and warm, keep it above the dew point, so we're able to have nice, clean, and clear lenses. Well, they're clear. It's not so much that they're clean, but able to get some decent images coming through here. We can bump this up because we have quite a few images that are being built up. And we can afford to stretch it a little bit more and start to see some details coming through there. So this says that it is a challenging object for small telescopes. Now, we have infinite patience here. We got some patience, and if we can spend a little more time on this, you can see it's a beautiful target to look at because of these waves of nebulosity, these cooling pillars, the beginning of pillars, like with the pillars of creation in the Eagle Nebula. Similar action is happening here with these cooling towers of hydrogen gas, which eventually you can see that if they separate and they start to form Bok globules, and they can start to condense and coalesce and form protostars, and from that stellar evolution start forming protoplanets and forming their own little solar systems in these areas. Something like that is always possible in stellar nurseries, rather than areas of supernova or planetary nebulae, where stars have ended their lives. there's not much happening out there, but that the end of the star's life is what's going to seed. That's what's going to seed life elsewhere in the universe. Like our star, our sun, it's a first generation star. There have been other elements, other heavier elements are formed when stars explode, and that's what helps form and seed life. Now, we're not getting really philosophical here. This is just the fact of the universe. And because stars are just mainly going to be hydrogen and helium, but when they explode, the chemical reactions that occur are what just creates everything more interesting in the universe. And thankfully, we're some of that interesting stuff. You're some of those interesting people. Speaking of which, old balls, what's going on, Pops? How are you? We got the Flaming Star Nebula tonight. And we got some clear skies. Now it is, I think we might be fighting with some clouds. I'm not sure how this is going to go because quite honestly, the forecast has been all over the place. So right now, everything seems to be going really, really well with guiding and with the clouds outside. Because right now, as long as this view is full of stars, I'm happy. I'm happy. Awake and good. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. So it has been a good night so far. We had a little bit of clouds rolling through, but it was cool. That was not our target. That's not what we went after there. This was our area of affection earlier on in the night. So this was partially delayed from clouds, but we had the bubble nebula, which we've imaged before, nice and close. But as soon as you zoom out from this target, there's so much more to see around here, including. Let me find out which. There's one star that is a nova. Now, not a supernova where the whole star is exploding, but was brightening considerably. And if I can find Cassiopeia again. Okay, so if we are looking at, let's go over to Stellarium for a second there. So we got the bubble nebula. Now this image that we have, it's let me do that. If we pick the right telescope, there we go. So our field of view is kind of tilted at the moment there, but that's Nova Cassiopeia 2021, and in our field of view, that would be Nova Cassiopeia 2021. So that star has increased in brightness considerably. And yeah, you can see there's a little bit of a haze around the stars. That was from some cloud coverage earlier on, but it just creates this nice little glow with the image there. So I'm happy how that accidentally turned out. But yeah, like I said, right now we're shooting the Flaming Star Nebula, and I wanted to go after this target for multiple reasons. One, it's a beautiful target and it fills up the frame nicely. Also, when I am framing things up, these three stars are these 5 stars are fairly bright and prominent in the frame, even if, like, let's if we go to auto stretch or even just reset it altogether, where you're really only going to see like some of the brightest points, these 5 stars and the 2 central stars of the Flaming Star, let's just keep saying star, just help you with framing up this object, especially if you have a bit of a dim camera. Most of the time, the brightest stars are going to punch through a lot of that darkness, and you can easily frame things up if you do. You remember the points of where these stars should be. And it really helps with the target. Sometimes when you're going for a target, it's kind of dim, and you got to take a chance with a little bit of a longer exposure while you're waiting to get everything framed up. But sometimes I've had this problem before with my Star Adventurer, and that was a totally manual system where, and even with the light pollution filter I was using with the Canon camera, which is our webcam right now, it would still be fairly dim. So sometimes I was wasting like 30 seconds and then have to readjust where things were. And that didn't always, allow for a quick imaging session. So getting familiar with the stars and doing like star hopping, it started to become pretty important when you're doing manual tracking, because it's just with this what we're using right now, the whole thing is fairly automated. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It's just so humid out. I need to find a way. Now, if anybody has any kind of experience dealing with mass amounts of humidity and water vapor and just trying to keep things warm in the area, it's like I feel like I need to get some kind of, I don't want to have to get one of those propane heaters for the area, but it's just, there's electronics and there's moisture, and that doesn't always work out that well. Yes, yes. Third Rock, you over there, third from the front. What do you got there? How do you combat this? There is a device I saw at Canadian Tire, and I got all excited about it. Mrs. Canuck was like, "What are you going on about?" It's a boot and shoe and glove and hat dryer. I was thinking about getting that, and you place it underneath the whole rig, and it just keeps the warm air cycling around there. Let me see if I can find it. See if anybody else can maybe confirm or deny that this is a good idea. Let's see. Yeah, it was these things. Yeah, it was this one. It was on sale, $45. Stu here was told to leave your heaters running so they don't draw much power. Yeah, so what's sticking something like this underneath the rig? Because you can see all the condensation, like the glass. Actually, here I can move this. It's rare you actually leave the gear setup. You don't trust people around it. Well, you were saying before you've had issues with the police, right? Where is the telescope camera? One time, okay. Wait, look at that. You'd think it's raining out. Now, I don't mind it being over there on the glass. That's fine. But it's just everything with the scope. If I can keep things dry around there, that's what I want to be able to look after. Or get like a bit of a wrap around the legs to kind of keep the power cords dry. It's like, I gotta say, there's more condensation here than I've dealt with in the UK, which is interesting enough. Why can't Okay, I think that's the angle we were at there. I know, right? It's just it's incredible. Now, some people were saying, if you're closer to grass, you're going to have a lot of condensation. Like, that's no good. There's a lot of grass around me. Your neighbor is sadly well known by them, and a few times a year, 4 to 5 cars shows up to deal with them. Oof. All right, so I can get why you wouldn't want to leave things sitting out too much. Like I gotta say, even I was where I was in the UK. Nobody could see my garden from the road or anything like that. Like everything was very closed off from things, so I wasn't too fussed about that. Plus, it's a heavy rig. Who's gonna? There was a narrow alley where it wouldn't have fit down at all. Not to say that would stop people if they're really determined, but I would say back in my folks' place, it was a little more concerning, just because you could see the rig from the street. So it was, like I said, a little more unnerving, keeping the camera in operation more. But right now, I'm not too concerned about things out here, for the sake of how high it is, and that's just like inaccessible from anywhere but inside the house. But again, keeping everything cool and not cool, but warm and dry. So something like, depending on how, I don't know if this would work. Would it be powerful enough? Is it? I would assume it's AC powered. Two and a half stars. Okay, I don't know if that looks like I shouldn't be showing that there. That's corded. I mean, the idea is there. That seems like it's going to keep some warm air cycling around the telescope. I don't know. Is it worth trying? Like, I'm assuming I can return it. Usually they don't seem to, they're not too fussed about this. Roger says it's a fantastic buy. Do a lot of fly fishing and it's difficult drying boots, particularly in the winter. This dryer works fantastic. In less than 2 hours, my soaking wet boots are completely dry. And it's a soft heat, so nothing ever gets hot to the touch. Insides are like they were never wet. Plus, it's relatively quiet. Glad I made this purchase. Thanks, Roger. I appreciate your review. Tina L. loves it. Great for drying our boot during the slushy wet weather. Thanks, Tina. Appreciate your review. All right. If these people have anything but positive things for this device, I think for being on sale for $45, yeah, let's what's the best that can happen, right? I shouldn't be showing it like this. I shouldn't. Why? Who would be doing that? That actually sounds rad. The worst thing in the winter is waking up in the morning and putting on your boots that are still wet from the commute home. I mean, it seems like a good idea. It seems like it could do the trick, unless it is designed to be like in close contact. Like if it's just like hot breath that comes out of there and it just kind of sits. I don't know how effective it would be outside, but do we have to change? Do we have to change the rating? It's not like anything ridiculous is happening. I don't know what would be causing anyone to be concerned about what's happening over here. But no, that's my harebrained scheme to try to keep a little bit of the moisture at bay from around the telescope. So the other night, speaking of harebrained schemes, I was imaging because it was again one of those nights where the weather suddenly was all of a sudden clear. However, it was Sunday night, so we already had done our Lego stream in the morning, which went on for quite a while, and Mrs. Canuck and I, Mrs. Canuck mainly took down the goat shed out back. I went outside and helped with the last little bit of demolition, but it was still substantial enough work that I ended up sitting down, trying a little more of the live stacking feature, which is what we're using tonight, and I started shooting the Pleiades, which is a reflection nebula, not good for the filter that I'm using. However, the shorter exposures and the filter and the low light pollution was actually pretty darn good, and I was very, very pleased with the image that had come out. This was whatever was 85 times 3 minutes, but I had fallen asleep. I woke up with the telescope sitting at a very aggressive angle on the opposite side of the meridian, and thankfully, because I actually have that pier in the middle there, had it not been on there, I would have hit the leg of the mount, and that would have been bad news. But everything was okay, and I end up with this awesome picture of the Pleiades. So another night, I'm gonna have to switch out the filters to put in the right filter, or the not so much the right filter, because this one turned out pretty good. The Optilong L Pro filter, which is more of a broadband filter designed for reflection nebula, and have a go at that, see how it is there. Wood I could raise up to be closer to work better. Would that be needed? Well, actually, back in the UK, the plugs were off the ground. So I try to keep them away from any of because the telescope sat in an area of the backyard where there was a bit of a dip, so water would kind of gather around there. But yeah, I guess raising the heater up. We don't have a shortage of boxes at the moment. It's not like we are boxless people. So, in hypothetically, yes, I could put it on top of a box, bring it up a little bit there, so just have the lower end of the telescope bathed in hot breath. As long as I can keep things dry, that's really what. Just like, even like the ASiAir. It's a new device, and it's out in all the wet. Although people have had like their whole setup rained on, and they said as soon as everything dried out, there was no ill effects from it. So at least it seems that ZWO has been building these products to have some sort of wind resistance. Ooh, just a little bit. There was a ride at, was it Disneyland or was it Universal Studios or MGM Studios? Anyway, one of those Walt Disney parks where it was Alien Attack, I believe was the ride. And the whole idea was like you were sitting in this immersed room where there were like speakers and all sorts of devices to kind of simulate an alien there. But the worst part was when you could hear, like, it was like walking behind you, the lights would kind of go out and you would feel that hot breath behind you that they would just kind of pump out a little bit. It was like, that's a crazy feeling. Better than the cold fog you're socked in. Something lukewarm, maybe? All right, let me do a little bit of a stretch on this one, because we've put, how much time there? We got 33 minutes on this target now. In the past, we have done 33-minute exposures, but we were doing single exposures. We were at the mercy of any guiding errors or anything that may have been flying through there. So to be able to have what was our longest exposure and have nothing to show for it up until now, at least at this point, we're starting to we're seeing it creep up. We're seeing the details coming through. So while I'm rambling on about things and things are happening elsewhere on the stream, we're seeing this image develop over time, and it is turning out wonderfully. To the point, it's like I honestly feel like there is the result of an image that I'm getting and I am doing like absolutely no processing other than just adjusting the histogram to show the details that are already there. It's very satisfying for what I'm doing here. This is to show you guys something cool and have it look really nice. Aside, we don't have like a very large, fast telescope to make these wide views, but it also gives me something to ramble on about there. And again, the filter is causing these round halos around the star, although it's nice and even, because we are using a refractor telescope using 2 lenses, which you want to have as few elements between your image and the camera as possible, so that there is less chance of any internal reflections causing any problems. Now, you can still do astrophotography with a camera lens, even though there's like multiple pieces of glass throughout the whole thing. But there's just something more like the crispness of a refractor telescope. Now, I like diffraction spikes. I'm not too much of a fan of these halos around the stars because it is just so abrupt. There isn't a nice gradient that kind of spreads out from it there. That I wouldn't mind so much. But again, it's just how tack sharp the stars are in a refractor scope. Just using the glass elements. Because at least with the mirrors, for the most part, unless you have a compound telescope where you have the glass in front with the mirror attached to the glass without any need for those vanes to hold it in place, you're left with a nice round star without any obstructions around there, depending on what kind of camera you're using. If you're using a Rasa telescope, chances are you're going to have a bit of the cable making a bit of a split in the halo around the stars here. However, the images, like I was watching Econ Greg's stream last night, and he shot the Andromeda Galaxy, and his 1 minute exposure was better than anything that has come out of my camera on the Andromeda Galaxy ever. And I had asked him, I said, how long was that stack? And he's like, that's 1 minute, that's one shot. And that's an 11-inch telescope with super fast optics that was creating I'll show you, because I'll go over to his VOD and show you just how awesome that shot was. And it was it was mind blasting. And then it's like, how much is a 11-inch Rasa? A lot. How much does it weigh? A lot more than the mount. Actually, it's the exact weight limit of what the mount I'm using. And at that point, you can't have any other piece of equipment. It's just a telescope, no camera. That's it. So I would be well over the weight limit for this mount. But I'll just go over to show you this image from his telescope the other night.
Weekend. It was miserable, raining and miserable.
That's 1 minute with that telescope for him, and that's incredible. That is an amazing shot of the Andromeda Galaxy. So, that is one of the goals for what we want to be able to do here. It may not be with the 11-inch Rasa, but it would still be a Rasa that would be comparable in size to what we are using with the RC scope. So it'd be about that size, but with just some faster optics that we could have on here. And that's, again, one of the goals. We're going to start pushing toward what we want to be, not pushing toward, sorry, it's the wrong word. That sounds like demanding things. No, what we want to be working towards for astronomy outreach, for the channel, for having live star parties, and being able to have a screen so you can have your visual astronomy, but you can also have a screen outside that is taking pictures and displaying them for maybe those who you need a little more to it than more than just your eyes looking at in the eyepiece. So just to be able to get some wonderful views, things like the flaming star in single exposures, quick single exposures. So, you're not really hanging around. You have more time available to go over to different targets, check out something else, and see how much. There's tons to see up in the night sky every night. And because we have such a wide field of view now, there is almost no area that's inaccessible to us. Now, right now where the telescope is, unfortunately, I've lost the southern views that I had gained after 4 years. However, the scope isn't always going to stay in this spot. I will move it around the yard and try out some other positions. Actually, probably in the next couple weeks, maybe I might move things around, and that is just for the sake of connectivity for the telescope, because I'm still using a Ethernet connection, which is just more reliable because I'm too far away to have a reliably stable Wi-Fi connection to the ASiAir. And also just the way how it worked out with the previous ASiAir, that everything kind of conked out there with the with its Wi-Fi antenna. So it was good that workaround was there, that I could still connect into the network and still control the unit from my computer. Like there was a lot of people who were saying that some of the latest updates with the ASiAir wasn't allowing you to work through BlueStacks, the program that I'm using right now to share this with you guys. And I'm thinking, okay, what are we going to do? What's the workaround going to be? And thankfully, everything still works. And hopefully they never muck around with the API that we can't keep doing this. Now, that's not to say that we can't do it with other programs, but I just feel like with the ASiAir is one of those tools that it kind of makes astrophotography a little more accessible to people, and you can have less of a setup. You don't need to have a computer out all the time. You can have low power devices that are going to be, just easy on power consumption. So you can, if you have just a smaller mount and a camera that isn't taking up a lot of power, then you can have a good night remotely with this little Raspberry Pi. Aside from having to use your computer, which is why I was really attracted to this device, because I was worried about leaving my computer outside, not even for the sake of maybe somebody coming around and nicking it, but just for the sake of the the elements getting to it. What if all of a sudden it started raining? I'd be out everything. Like the laptop would be toast. The whole mount and camera would be done for. So yeah, it's little things like that is just the benefits of what we can do with these Raspberry Pi devices. And they are tremendous value for the money. I think there's sometimes when I see a lot of if there's problems that are going on with devices, it just, I don't want to say it's always user error, but sometimes it can be user error. Maybe you do get a bad batch of electronics. It could be even like connectivity issues. It's always it can always feel like a bit of a coin toss with things, and especially now when there's a lot of shortages with electronics, and it's there's only so much that can be put out that isn't bad. If the supply is high, and if there's a defective product, that can go to the wayside. But maybe sometimes things, I don't know if standards may have dropped down a little bit, and maybe that is a reason why more people are having some issues with things. But then again, it's like, it's Cremini. What's up, Canada Beans? What's your favorite mushroom? Or is it Toad in Mario Kart whenever he gets kicked off the map? Ow, 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 ow. Followed by a shiitake mushroom and a portobello. Actually, no, it'd be portobello, then maybe oyster, then shiitake. How are you doing tonight? We got 15 exposures stacked up here on the Flaming Star Nebula. Let's see if I can get a little more detail popping out here. See if we can get some more of that reflection nebula in there to show itself. Now we stretched it a little bit there, a little more, but yes, we're starting to get to see that blue, that cyan kind of turquoise within all the red. That's that star reflecting off of all these gas clouds. And sometimes it can be difficult to tease that out there and maintain, the separation between the two colors. You want to put a lot of time in on this target. See if we back it off a little bit there. I'm liking how that's looking there. So IC405, the Flaming Star Nebula, lies about 1,500 light years away and is 5 light years across. The proper motion of the illuminating star AE Aurigae can be traced back to the area of Orion's belt. Aurigae's story is linked to another star, Mu Columbae, around 2.7 million years ago. These two stars had a close encounter with one another in the Great Orion Nebula. The encounter was so close that both stars were ejected from the Orion complex. Morals are probably your favorite, followed close by shiitake, and almost anything from the genus Psilocybe is good. Now, we found a moral in our front yard, in our front garden, back in England, and we weren't sure what it was. Well, we knew it was a mushroom, but we had never seen a moral before. And we'd asked around, saying what's up with this mushroom, what kind of mushroom is it, and people were saying it's a moral and you can eat it. And well, we didn't, and it just kind of sat there on our windowsill, and it just turned up into this little shrivelly prune. There really isn't any moral to this story, but it was just more of a callback there. What do they taste like? Are they earthy? Are they nutty? The colors in the nebula. Red is generally going to be hydrogen alpha. Actually, with the filter that we're shooting with, that's pretty much all we're picking up in the red channel is hydrogen alpha. The blue in most of these images are going to be star reflection. And if you get some of the other areas of nebulosity that are more, this is all starlight being reflected off clouds, but there are some areas, let's say with the Western Veil Nebula, let me find a picture of that, where you're going to get the oxygen 3 channel coming through. So you get the with this one, with the part of the Veil Nebula, you have the red, which is hydrogen alpha, but then with the turquoise, the blue, you kind of get, that's where the O3 channel, the doubly ionized oxygen, is being emitted there. So what I love about this target is that it just has this almost immediate 3D effect. Like, I want to throw on the 3D glasses and see something in here. You don't really, but hydrogen alpha, that is the hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe, and in the electromagnetic spectrum, in the visible spectrum, the hydrogen emits at the 656 nanometer range, which is kind of in the red end of the spectrum there. And yes, that is basically what it is. That's what the filter is picking up. So I'll show you the filter that we're using, because the filter we're using cuts out a lot of the visible spectrum where most of the light pollution lies. No. Please ask as many questions as you want. So in terms of true color, there are modified color palettes, and that comes from using black and white cameras. We're using a color camera, so the way how the color is coming through, there isn't exactly color in space so much as it's the that it does, like the hydrogen alpha sits in the lower end of the electromagnetic spectrum, or the visible spectrum, so it is the longer waves of light, so it's red, whereas the oxygen 3 is a little more energetic, and that sits higher, and that's where you get more of the blue light from. So in a way, with a one-shot color camera, these are fairly true colors. If you see of the ones that are kind of like rusty and blue and almost a little bit of purple to them sometimes, that's using the Hubble palette. And because hydrogen alpha and sulfur 2, which are some of the two main emissions, are very close together, so when you're using a mono camera to separate them, you are usually going to assign hydrogen alpha to the green channel and sulfur 2 to the red, and then oxygen 3 to the blue. If I were to get a monochrome camera, this would be it'd be super fun to illustrate it. But so yeah, with a color camera, it's fairly accurate of what the color is representative of in space. Our meat cameras are very inefficient. So it'd be gray almost. Sonic! Yeah, no worries. Flipping the bird in 3D. No worries. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate seeing you on in here. Yes, have a good night yourself, and yeah, we'll see you around soon. This is a bit of an impromptu stream tonight, in effect, in the sense that the weather was very questionable, and right now it's actually been very, very clear and reliable. So we're getting these decent images there. Also, I don't have these around just for fun. I am working on a channel point redeem that would require actual 3D glasses. There's just a little bit more that I got to do to get it implemented. There's still some. If I had another camera, I could kind of show you guys what the setup is like at the moment. But there's cameras aren't in the final position where they are right now, so a lot of the views aren't where I was hoping it would be. So again, because there's lots of little changes, and I also kind of want to get it. Not so much perfect, but yes, I want to get it right. So it's kind of it's that balance between fixing things up on the computer and creating some new content for the channel, but then it's also just getting the look right. I'm happy with how things have turned out so far. But yeah, there's still more to like. I still haven't got the pictures. The pictures are still sitting there. The wall behind me is just a little too blank, Yes, but Morals taste like the kind of nutty and earthy, you'd say. I think it was like mostly their texture. It's like a great shroom for pastas and stuff. It's like, it's got some, I don't know, what's the word? It's toothsome. Like, it's not just falling apart like it's mush. We haven't really seen. We've seen some wild mushrooms around here that end up looking like giant rockets. But then I was told as soon as they start doing that or turning black around the edges, they're no longer a viable mushroom to eat. They're already starting to decay. Not that I would really say, yeah, I'm going to pop this wild mushroom in my mouth. It turns out really thin. It loses... Is there a lot of moisture in a morel? Because even the one that we kind of had sitting on our windowsill, even though I said it was all kind of shriveled up, it was still... There was still body to it. And there's the... I do like the consistency of oyster mushrooms as well. They don't really change... They don't really change their shape too much there. There might have been inky caps, maybe, I don't know. After we didn't really look it up too much. So, like, there needs to be an app, like a little snap camera for mushrooms or something. I don't know. You've only ever had dried morels. Yeah, funny enough, that was the only morel that we ever found in our garden. Just the one, just randomly, just this spore decided to call our front garden home and do its thing. All right, we got 18 exposures, and we did about 18 on the last target before, and I think this is looking pretty darn sweet. Google Lens is good for identifying species, or iNaturalist, which is a cool citizen science app. Oh, really? iNaturalist. Let us... Now, is that like an iPhone thing, or is it... Oh, wait. It is available on the Google Play Store. An editor's choice with 1 million downloads. I am downloading it. I'm downloading it. Because there are a great deal of things on the new property that we don't know what they are. So, yeah, if that kind of helps us identify some plants and things, some mushrooms, that'd be great. Thank you very much for the recommendation. I will let this image finish, and then I will say we're going to move on to another target. And in the meantime of moving on to another target, I will take a quick little comfort break, have a little stretch. I also don't anticipate that we're going to be streaming for very, very long tonight, just because I didn't anticipate that it was actually going to be a long streaming night if we're going to be doing it. Actually, I was going to be doing just a couple hours with some image processing. And, well, thankfully the skies were clear. So we'll pick one more target. We'll start imaging on that. And then I'll probably aim to shoot the Christmas tree cluster and add a little bit more time to that there. You're going to run your favorite bands premiering new music in 3 minutes. Have a good night, you two. Who's your favorite band? Who's one of your favorite bands? I need to know. I like music. No, if you do have to run, no worries. Have a good night. Have a good night, Canada Beans, and we will see you again soon, hopefully. But yes, the Flaming Star Nebula is one of those targets that I have. I spent 14 hours on this one target before, and I gotta say that I don't even think that came out this detailed for me before. Like, this is the power. This is the power of a cooled astronomy dedicated camera. To get some interesting deep sky images, pull out all those details in a relatively short amount of time. Like before, we were shooting our half-hour images and they were fairly risky because we were at the mercy of Beach House. All right, I'm not familiar with that one, but I do have Amazon Music, so I will keep that in mind. Have a listen, see what other people are into, you know. All right, I'm going to save that one down as well. Save succeeded. Where do we want to go over to? Where do we want to go over to next? It seems that the skies are wonderfully clear. So what we're using right now was the live stacking feature in the ASiAir Plus. Also, what I like is the plan mode. Yes, that's fine. In the plan mode, you pick your targets. So if you have a target that is kind of starting low in the southern sky, or in the western sky, and you want to get a couple hours on that target before it sets, you can set it to your target, and then after you've done that imaging, go to the next target. That one, maybe you don't want to cross the meridian. Maybe you want to go back to a target that is lower on the eastern sky. So you pick another target, and I think this is what I was really hoping for, because there were nights when I would be imaging, and especially in the UK, I had such a limited window of opportunity, so I could only get like maybe, depending on the target, I would maybe get like 4 or 5 hours tops during the night, and then I would either have to shut it down or slowly build up data on another target. At least with this way. I haven't implemented this yet. I will probably try that out maybe the next clear night and just see how that works, how well it performs. Because I think it's great to be able to kind of plan your night out, and you know, maybe you're doing maybe a couple of hours on 2 or 3 different targets a night, so you can start building up the time, and then you have quite a few different targets to work on. So you can go with a galaxy, go with an emission nebula, go with a reflection nebula, and if you wanted to keep trying those different processing techniques with each different type of the images, or maybe you want to go after a comet for a bit. Maybe there's some brighter comet that's coming up that is having a bit of an outburst, so it's starting to brighten a little bit more. Try to pull some data in on that one there. So that the plan section is, I guess, see, I'm coming from the original ASiAir, where there was like almost no options. It's kind of like shoot and stack your images later by yourself. Just plan that one session, that's all. The ASiAir Plus, there seems to be so much more to utilize on here. The video, we kind of used it, and you can see we got a live shot here now. We're kind of looking at the central stars of the Flaming Star Nebula. Now, there's not much that we're going to get out of this because it is a very dim target to begin with, and we have a small aperture. If we were to go over to, say, the Orion Nebula, we could start to see a little more detail of that core and that trapezium cluster, but it's still a small telescope. If we're using our larger telescope, then we could start to see some more live detail of the center of the Orion Nebula and just illustrating how bright that target is. But what I'm going to do is go over to a new target. So we were on IC 405, but I want to go over to, actually let's head over to Stellarium and show you what we're going to be looking for. So we have quite a clear view out to the west. But again, a lot of this is setting. Now we could try to go after some dark nebulae. Although I wonder if it might be a little too low. Now I want to we'll try to stay little higher. The Cocoon Nebula is a nice one because you can kind of see like the dark dust lane that goes through, that kind of cuts in front of the Milky Way. You see a little dark nebula there. We have done a stack on the Elephant's Trunk Nebula, and that looked absolutely wonderful. This looks. What's the target on this one? It's the Lionhead Nebula. We could go after the Wizard, although it does kind of appear a little tiny. We have done the cave. NGC 7822. This is a target that I like because it looks very much like a skull. Right now it's upside down, but it almost requires like a bit more wider field of view. Now I wouldn't say that this isn't like a bad choice. Actually, it is like pure nebula that fits in within the scope. Now is this it is past the meridian, so shooting this one actually won't be too bad. Telescope will have to flip, but that works out well. All right, let's go. I'm going to try this one out because when I did go after it, it's also known as the there's the question mark nebula. So it does kind of follow the path of a question mark, being punctuated by another lower portion of the emission nebula there. But if not that. Now we've imaged the Heart Nebula, many areas of it in great detail. The Soul, not so much. Oh, there's a lot of choices. I'm gonna go for where's the triangulum sitting? Sitting high. Oh wait. Let's go to the the right time, shall we? It's actually sitting much lower than I anticipated. Flaming Star is nearly straight up. There's other areas that lie between the Pleiades. And the California Nebula. There was another target that somebody was talking about, and it's in between, or it's in the area of California and the Pleiades. Which target was it? See, this would be a good target to go after with broadband, because it is a dark nebula. There isn't a lot of emission nebulae associated with this one. See, there are so many more targets. Okay, I'm gonna say what we were gonna go after before was NGC 7822. We're going to go after that one there, and kind of round things off for the night. But I'm going to get up, do a quick stretch, and we'll be back with a little more astrophotography shortly. Let me go over to that target in the ASiAir. Actually, I'm gonna try something else out because I'm thinking I'm conscious of the time. I actually do have we do have a meeting in the morning. You had to get Mrs. Third Rock from work. No worries, no worries. We are. I was gonna go over to NGC 7822, but I'm just conscious of the time because I do have to get up early-ish in the morning. So if I'm going to try what I said I was going to do, doing the mono binning on the Christmas tree cluster. So let's head back over to head back over there. No, that's lowers. Sorry. Yes, hello. I am me. Thank you very much for attending this meeting. Now, if you'll turn your attention to anywhere else, NGC 2264, of course, I should be, there you go, close to it. All right, let's head over to the Christmas tree cluster. I'm gonna try out this mono binning and see how this looks. We'll do a couple exposures with it and see how it turns out there. And you can see the condensation building up on the RC skull. Actually, sorry, condensation. That's frost. It is getting chilly out now. All right, now we center on that bit there, so we get a bit of Hubble's variable nebula in that shot as well. Oh, it's 2 where you are. Holy potatoes. Everybody's getting chilly. Well, that's the other thing. The temperature has been all over the place.
Potatoes.
Yes, the potatoes. They're very holy. They're just full of cavities. Thank you, Baba Zendig Mother. How are you doing? Thank you. Snowing all around except on you. You gotta love living in a convergence zone. There's I know people were saying that Saskatchewan was getting slammed with snow, and possibility that we're in the firing zone. Hello, Mother. All right, let's try this mono bin. All right, how's guiding? Guiding with the way for guiding to settle there. So again, that definition of what mono binning is, because we have a color camera, which has a red, green, blue Bayer matrix. This is meant to read it all in grayscale. So essentially, we'd be kind of using this as a luminous layer. So this is just specifically for color cameras. So let's see what this grayscale image looks like. I'll do, again, 3 minutes with it without using a... Actually, no, I can do a live stack. Take out the dark... Actually, no, forget it. We'll leave it in there. And... yeah, I'm going to start imaging on this for a bit. Like I said, I'm just going to do a quick stretch. I'm going to take a quick comfort break. And hopefully, before this image is complete, we'll see how it looks. And yeah, I'll be back, and then we'll see how this is going to go. Then I'll kind of run down what we're going to do for the throughout the rest of the week, and yeah, kind of give you some updates on life. All right, I'm going to leave it on this one here. It's not time for coffee. We'll just be right back there. So when you bin 2, it takes your sensor from 3008 to 1504. So I haven't changed the. I don't believe it's going to bin 2 by 2. It's just everything reads out as a mono. We'll see. We'll see how this comes out there. We'll be right back. I don't know. That doesn't look very black and white. Also, a little bit of movement there. I would almost ditch that image. Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so maybe because it's on the live stack? Yeah, we'll stop that. I mean, that's... It still looks nice. I'm still excited about the data that we have for it here. Preview, advanced, mono bin, yes. So maybe if it needs to be, let's, we'll try that again. I'm going to see if we can find out how the image is supposed to look with a mono bin. That's why the QHY 268M would work for both scopes, even though it's software bidding is not hardware like the old CCDs. See, that's the I see the benefit of monochrome cameras, but again, it's the added cost with the filters and filter wheels, or at least filters, which can be very expensive. So but in the end, you kind of get you have the whole sensor is getting all the detail. You're not fighting with interpolation from a color camera. So I'm just wondering, or maybe, I don't know if it's just spitting it out in color this way and the FITS file is monochrome. Because I'm expecting to see that black and white image, like not like a true I don't know. And I guess do I have to do this one separate? Do I have to stack it separately in Deep Sky Stacker as a monochrome image, or these are the questions I want to find out answers to. Then I can, also help relay that information and say, well, here's how how well things worked out, and here's how things didn't work out. But we'll see how that one turns out, and if not, I'll go to the auto run, and I think I have how much. What do we got? It's midnight. The target will be available throughout the night. There will be a meridian flip needed. However, the last few nights, it has worked out just fine. Guiding, what are you doing? Guiding is just going for a walk right now. What is this? What are these? Whose numbers are these? This is not what we want. We want to have some strong, stable guiding before we throw it back to auto run. Now everything seems to be I have nobody's on the deck, so that can't be causing the movement. I wonder if the multi-star guiding is just kind of meh. Because everything's nice and bright. Although I did switch to 3 seconds for the exposures before because we had some cloud coverage rolling through. Maybe that's too much time in between, but we had guiding was going well earlier on. No, that's still color by my by my eyes. All right, so I'm not sure how monobin works unless it is the FITS file comes out. If that FITS file is going to come out black and white. It's all the moisture in the air. The little droplets of water are getting picked up by the infrared sensor, so it's just reflecting off the little droplets. It is also, temperature is dropping. It's 2 degrees right now, so it is getting, it's no longer really wet outside. It's just it's getting frosty out there. So I'm going to, okay, the camera temperature is supposed to be minus 10 degrees Celsius. The cooler is only running at 9% right now. It is barely having to do anything. All right, I'm going to stop this. I'm going to move it back to 2 seconds. Let's refresh that. And maybe guiding will be happy. So we want to... We are not doing darks anymore. We want to do lights at 180 seconds for 3 minutes each. 60 will take us... That is 3 hours. That is still only 3:30 in the morning. That is 5 hours. That takes us to about 5:30 in the morning. We are dithering every 4th frame. We want to Hello? Camera Tim! Camera Tim, what's going on? How are you, sir? Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. How's it going? What did you get up to tonight? What were you up to? What were you... Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you in here. My name is Tom. I'm the Astro Canuck. Tonight, we're doing some live astrophotography. Doing some short film editing. Oh, how'd that go? Excellent. Was this a personal project, or had to cut it short, unfortunately? Oh, no. Hope everything's all right on your end there. There have been a lot of puns being thrown around. There have been a lot of those. Hope you're doing well otherwise. Hopefully everything is all going well with you, sir. Personal project. All right, cool. Excellent. Our personal project tonight is adding some more data onto the Christmas tree cluster. Things good outside of that. Wonderful. Wonderful to hear. Yeah, thanks so much for bringing the community on over here. No, I appreciate. I know that these things happen, and also, there are things to do. But thank you so much for bringing people in. Thank you. We're shooting a lot of targets, and we're kind of slowly wrapping things up here as well. But thank you so much, Camera Tim. Have a good evening. Take care of yourself, and yeah, look forward to catching. I've pretty much just returned to the online world, so. We'll definitely be looking to catch some of your streams in the future there, dude. So we'll see you soon. And we are going to continue on with our setup for our image there. So we want to be able to have the telescope do its thing where it'll flip across the meridian. So it is tracking towards the west after it, our eastern target crosses over there. But it'll do that all by itself. I will monitor it for the most part. And yeah, I'll set it to finish in 5 hours. That's going to add 100 extra frames. You know what? It's for 100 frames and trying to do this mono bin. Like, that's another 5 hours to add on to this. I don't know how much, like, what adding like a 5 hours of luminance on top of this. Oh, it. I'm thinking I want to capture more color on this thing. If I can get 5 hours on this target, if I can do 5 more hours in color. So giving us we'll get about maybe almost 11 hours. Pardon me, almost 11 hours with this target in the end. No. We're going for color. I'm not gonna do the mono bin at this one. If I was gonna end things like in like the next 3 hours, we're doing like a couple hours for this mono binning. I'll try it on another project. or at least I'll try it out on this one when there's less time available for our target, you know, to try and build luminance data. But yeah, I want to see it like even like a single 3-minute exposure on here. You know, it's already looking like it is a very interesting area. You know, also the fact that it resembles a Christmas tree. All right, Ma, have a good night. I'll be turning in shortly as well. So let's we'll get ready to raid out as well to somebody else. But we got the 3-minute exposures of the Christmas tree cluster rolling in there. We already have, for those who are subscribed to the channel, we do have the data available in the Astro's data section of the Discord, and we will we'll let that run throughout the night. I have a meeting in the morning, so I will be turning in very, very shortly as well. Can I expose you to a fun, chilled stream Bill Nash introduced you to? Well, let's hear it. I'll take it into consideration there. By all means. What do they do here? Check them out. Duo rock party for Roxy Gun.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, what's our slancha? We like our ska. It's better to spend money like there's no tomorrow than spend tonight like there is no money. Slancha. Slancha.
Oh, interesting, eh?
And just Briarwood is shaking my friend. Hello.
Song requests are closed. I guess they have a bit of a list to get through there.
The only alcohol problem is if you run out. Coming from someone that doesn't drink, that's hilarious. Thank you so much, Steve.
There's Mischief, everyone. She's just walking through.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's go for it. I like the looks of things here. I dig it, Third Rock. That's cool.
Hence the donate button. I wish it was a real button that you could just click right there, but you just have to do exclamation point. Yeah, this is a song off our first album. But this is right here. This picture is our second album.
All right, so let's give our raid messages there for those in chat. If you want to stick around for the raid, that'd be well appreciated. But yeah, we're going to send you guys over to Roxy Gun Project at the recommendation of Third Rock Astronomy. I trust your taste in some streams there, and especially if Bill Nash recommends it as well. Why not? Let's have a check out. Let's check them out there. So yes, guys, I thank you all very much for tuning in tonight. We like I said, we're gonna let the telescope run throughout the night and collect some more data on the Christmas tree cluster, so that we're able to add some more data, try to get some even more detail out of these images there. I know I said I was going to do some image processing tonight, but luckily enough, we have some clear skies. So I'll let Scope do its thing. We will definitely be back Friday night for some astronomy chat. However, Wednesday, Thursday, you know, we'll like I said, if we have some clear skies, we'll jump on, or also maybe do some of that image processing to see how this data comes through there. And yeah, I still want to do some Phasmophobia. Still want to play some of that. So if you guys want to copy those messages in there, we're going to send you guys over to Roxy Gun Project. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed your time tonight. I'm very happy that we had some clear skies. A little bit of a hiccup at one point with some clouds, but that's all right. These things happen. Yes, we'll be back very soon. Keep an eye on the Discord. Keep an eye on Twitter as well for when we're going to be doing things, planned live streams. But yeah, until then, I want to thank Ben Naduva, NASA Muffin, Camera Tim for the raids tonight. Absolutely fantastic sharing the communities. And I hope you guys had a good time. I've been Tom. I am the Astro Canuck. I'm not here to change the world. I'm here to share the universe. Have a very good evening, and we will see you soon. Take care.